So, had a little trouble with the misses lately. And then I learned something about myself yesterday. And it kind of, it's funny. And other people might be able to relate to this. Where do I start? So, simply put, so I have OCD. And some of the things that I'm obsessed with are the brain, and morality. So morality is one of my big obsessions. So immoral things, I mean unethical, really. I don't mean immoral by tradition, but just it's stupid things, turn signals, the space you take up on the metro, they just drive me absolutely nuts. And it's like difficult for me to take the bus without getting into an argument with someone for sitting in an aisle seat or something. Or otherwise I'm just like, ugh. So anyway, so I'm OCD about morality. I also have romantic OCD. Now I'm much more compartmentalized in the romantic OCD. I've never justified it. I've never stalked anyone or anything like that. I've had sort of constant invasive, like, a need to hear from my girlfriend. I haven't really had this problem in about 10 years, but it was hard back then. But it wasn't like where I would actually act in line with that, where I would, what the fuck is she doing? Who is she with? I gotta find out, all this stuff. I just hated it. I just had my heart beating out of my chest when I had it. Anyway. I probably also have religious OCD. I feel the presence of God constantly. I'm almost obsessively compulsive. I don't know. There's some people have so OCD. You can have it with like cleanliness. You can have it with relationships. You can have it with religion. You can have it with numbers. Maybe you can have it with I don't know, fucking security or whatever. Anyway. And so what does that mean that I have OCD? What does that look like? I'm not going to talk about the relationship stuff now because I haven't really had that in a while. Basically, what it just means in a relationship, that beginning phase when you're interested in someone and you're kind of waiting by your phone and I don't know, you just have, are they going to text me back? And every thought kind of goes back to them. Well, that phase is happening because of some serotonin change in your brain. I think it's an increase during that phase, of course. That would make sense. And then OCD, it's a problem with serotonin. And so basically that phase can be super long. That sort of needing affirmation and all that stuff. All right, so anyway, so that's relationship OCD. Morality OCD, I just have a ton of pet peeves. Can't fucking have a conversation in front of a doorway, stuff like that. And that one I do kind of justify. I judge people really hard who like stop and talk at the top of stairs or whatever. But once I realized it was OCD, I decided to try to be a little. But the relationship thing, OCD just wasn't justifiable. Neither is the religion OCD. The morality OCD, yeah, it'd be cool if people just didn't block doorways. If they just stepped a foot to the side to have their conversation, that would be cool, wouldn't it? And then another OCD I have is sort of logic, truth, understanding. I don't mean that I'm obsessed with like finding truth, where if I don't have truth, then I'm freaking out. I am humble enough to know that I will not have truth in my lifetime. I can just give you guys some ideas, and one day maybe we'll have some truth. But if I'm OCD about communication. Oh, this was actually supposed to be a quicker video. Okay, so anyway. So, if you say something to me that doesn't make any sense, I'm gonna lose it if we don't figure it out. Or sometimes just things like, I think that I can know the answer to this. In fact, I think you have the answer. I'm not going to be able to think about anything else until you give me the answer. Maybe I'm trying to understand why someone did something. Okay, maybe you don't know, but explain. I need to. Okay. I don't let things go. I need to sort them. Communication, understanding. It's loose ends are very, very difficult for me. Of course, sometimes I forget. But it's sometimes hard for me to forget, and if I don't forget, can't move on. Need to have a conversation about it. Need to understand. Need to ask my questions. Need to know we're on the same page. So, recently the missus and I had some trouble. She felt like she wasn't good enough. And I know I have this effect on people that I think I'm better than them and stuff. And I know I have trouble with my sister because she's... And it's so crazy to me because I think people should feel incredibly safe with me. So here's what I learned yesterday. I was watching some video on YouTube. Some person had OCD on it. Some narrator was talking about this person. Maybe it was like a JCS type thing. Red Tree Crime maybe. And the person said that partners of people with OCD can often feel like nothing they do is right. And that they're constantly being criticized. I had never associated my tendency to do things that are taken as criticisms with my OCD, my intensity, my tendency and intensity, my intense tendency. Everything made sense. Because, for instance, an example. Let's say this is not something that happened, but let's say that my girlfriend and I plan to go to a restaurant to eat. And on the way, we see this street performance. And I say, hey, you know what? Let's just grab a kebab here or something and watch this street performance. What do you think? And she says, no, that's not what we agreed to. That's going to set me off. Hold on, your reason is that that's not what we agreed to. That's not clicking for me because I know very well that you're not someone who blah, blah. So I think the truth is that you don't want to eat a kebab or watch a street performance. You want us to go over there. Okay, so I need you to say that. And we need to... Yeah, I need to hear that. It's like, yeah, that's why it's like truth or logic or understanding or communication. I don't know exactly what it is. Or if she did something that just bothered me even in the slightest, I need to talk about it. But it's not I need to tell her off for it. Basically, I think basically what's happening psychologically is that the OCD brain is almost very sensitive to certain things being out of line. And that can be literally, right? A picture frame, things being clean and organized. For me, it isn't really, as you can see. So for me, though, step out of line morally, step out of line. It's not that I need to tell you off. Well, morally, maybe. But, gosh, I don't really know how to explain it, to be honest with you. I'm trying to understand it. Pour tu politesse. Oh, pour ta politesse. Okay. So what I'm just trying to say is that I just suddenly oh yeah, okay. So basically, my brain, there's a part of my brain that just goes nuts when it hears something that doesn't make sense. But here's what you have to understand. Because what happens after is not what you think. You're saying, oh, it's not a good thing that your brain goes nuts. Oh, it's, chill out. It's not a big deal. That's the thing. It's not a big deal. This this misunderstanding here needs to become 100% our only priority until it's thoroughly resolved. But it's not a big deal. Really. It's like there's not like a whole bunch of judgment. I just need it to be flat. My metaphor is a sheet right now, a bed sheet. I just need the truth to be flat. When I see wrinkles in the conversation, I just can't handle wrinkles in the conversation. Of course, I can handle non-linear conversation, blah, blah. But contradictions, mistakes, things going unrecognized, very difficult for me. And I grew up on TV, by the way. I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid. And in TV, you never ever have that. You never have wrinkles. Pretty much. If a character says an untrue thing, either it will be just very true to the audience, but even still, you'll have another character that will confirm that. Every wrinkle goes addressed on TV and in film. And I can't handle my brain like that. My brain loves TV, loves when the wrinkles get addressed. Wait, that person just said that Rome is in Pakistan. Okay, great. Then that other character said, oh yeah, he's a fool. Actually, there are morality wrinkles. It kills me. I'm like, writers, do you think that your main character is being immoral right now? That is kind of a wrinkle, and it drives me absolutely nuts. I need us to be all on the same page or know whatever the best truth is that's available. I don't know how to explain it. And misunderstandings just so anyway, so if you have OCD, and especially if you're a logical pain in the ass, or you think you are logical, we're definitely pains in the asses, but then basically it's not stop. That's not the advice. Sorry, you don't have a cure to my OCD. Instead, what I'm have to ask you to understand that it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. My intellectual panic when you say something that I'm not understanding, so I'm asking you a bunch of questions to try to understand, and you think, and you're feeling, oh, I don't have the answers for you, and I'm just coming in at you with these questions. I'm not trying to hurt you. You can just say, oh, fuck, I don't have the answers. And then I say, okay, so I'm going to think about this. So what about this? Blah, blah, blah. And if you want, you can even tell me, oh, I don't want to talk about it. And then I'll say, okay, then we need silence because I just have to think about this now. Stay open to me maybe being able to share whatever resolution I came up with or my attempt at a resolution. But also, yeah, it's just really knowing that it's not a big deal. Just because I'm talking about it and I'm giving it all my attention doesn't mean that it's a big deal. It's just that there are some voices in my brain that are telling me I can't take another breath until this is sorted. That's all. It's not a big deal. Where your mistake, it's not a big deal. So, oh my God, fuck. So this explains. All right, so here we're going to leave it at this. When I was working, I was in Paris in a shoe store. I got the job. I'd only been there 6 months. I had a lot of school French that I had learned, but I wasn't speaking very good French. And my boss said in French to a French customer, okay, so just all natives. My boss said, "Those shoes run bigs." Sort of, yeah. Those shoes run bigs. I'm using a plural instead of masculine and feminine because we don't have that in English, but she said those shoes run bigs. Those shoes run big, right? So I guess they get a smaller size or whatever. She said those shoes run bigs. I said, oh. So in French, do you have to big, which I would think would be an adverb here describing run, but you're making it agree with the shoes. Plural shoes, plural bigs. Of course, it really doesn't work in English because we don't have plural bigs. But in French, your adjective, the ending, has to agree with the thing that it's describing. And so in French, you would say the big shoes, right? Okay, so the big shoes. Oh, those are big shoes. Okay, but they run bigs? That seemed strange to me. And it was a totally innocent, I'm shocked by this, and I was totally believing that she knew what she was talking about. And so I asked her, she said, yeah, because shoes are plural, so we say bigs, that runs bigs. Et si tu parles français, elle avait dit, cette chaussure-là est taille grande. Et du coup, elle me disait, bien sûr que c'est grande. Il faut mettre un E à la fin parce que c'est une chaussure. So I just wanted to catch up with the actual example. So anyway, so she says, yeah, of course you have to put an S at the end of bigs because it's plural shoes. And I go, yeah, but okay. And really, at this point, I mean, when I show you now, I'm showing you knowing how this turned out. But in the moment, I'm just wide-eyed student. I'm just here. I got my notebook. I would write down French stuff, new stuff in my notebook. And so I thought I just discovered this cool difference between French and English. Or maybe it's because it was an expression. Because in French, you do say des portes grandes ouvertes. And now, well, you say the doors bigs opens. But big isn't describing door, it's describing how much it's open. And here you do say bigs opens. Look at the doors, bigs opens. The big open doors. Or the doors that are wide open, the wide open doors. The wide open doors, in French you say, the bigs open doors, opens the doors. Even though big is not describing the doors, it's describing how much they're open, wide, okay. But you do make it feminine, just like with ouverte, with open, okay, and plural. So, and also, les yeux, c'est féminin ou masculin? Les yeux grands ouverts? Les yeux grands ouverts. I don't know. Anyway, so it actually was very plausible that she was correct to say the shoe runs bigs. Just like she could say the doors are bigs opens. Where bigs is, yeah, describing are, but agrees with doors. So I'm trying to understand. She's given me a very basic French lesson, and so I'm saying no, but I'm saying here, I would think it's an adverb, and you forget. Being an academic, or even just having learned French in an academic setting, but also I know it from my own language, you forget that not everybody knows what to call the things in their language. So they thought I was a real asshole. Because here I was going, are you I'm not understanding why you're saying bigs, because the adverb should be qualifying or should agree with the verb. This isn't an adjective here. And she's like, I don't know, but I know it's correct. And, you're an American. You're not about to teach me French. I was like, no. Oh, sorry. Shit. No. I was trying to learn. I was just trying to understand. So I looked it up online, and I saw a Quebec page, a Québécois page, and it said the shoes run bigs. So I showed it to my assistant manager. He was like, let it go. I was like, what do you mean let it go? I'm saying, okay, so maybe, so is this true, or is this like just in Canada that they say? Because here's the thing. I had other coworkers saying the shoe runs big. I had a customer come in. She was like, oh no, it's clearly the shoe runs big. It's not the shoe runs bigs. And I talked to another coworker about it, and she was like, why are you so obsessed with it? What do you want me to do? My boss, who has been speaking French her whole fucking life, who is the manager of a shoe store, is telling me with certainty that it's the shoe runs bigs. And she is upset with me for even being confused by that. Then you've got a customer who maybe has never sold shoes a day in her life, who seems absolutely certain that my manager has no idea what she's talking about. But then there's this website with Quebec French that says the same thing as my manager. And my assistant manager, little kiss ass, is saying the same thing as my manager. But my coworker is saying the same thing as this customer and as what we do in English. It was very difficult. It was very difficult for me. But that's all. I'm not mad at you, manager. Manager, if you have the humility, if I come to you and I say, hey, this customer is absolutely certain that you're wrong. Is it possible that you're doing this wrong? And if you went, huh, you know, I was thinking about what you said about the adverbs and adjectives thing. And I guess you're right. We do say les portes grandes ouvertes, but chaussée, and I asked my husband, and it's, yeah, it's chaussée grand. It's that runs big. Then it's not a fucking big deal. It's you that makes it a big deal. Okay? Look, if I'm asking you to explain to me something you said that I didn't understand, and the building is on fire, then yeah, okay, I've got a problem. But if you and I are just having a conversation, I'm like, wait, can we go back to that other thing you said? What is that? And you don't even indicate to me that, like, it's a problem for you. And then you turn it into a problem because you feel so challenged that you want to defend yourself. And you feel attacked. But I'm just trying to tell you, it's actually not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I just want to know, does it run big or not? And everybody's telling me different things. I thought it would be a useful thing to know in a shoe store. I mean, if you guys don't mind sounding like you don't speak French, I mean, I certainly don't mind. It's not my native tongue. So it's not at all a big deal. It just, if you're talking to someone with OCD, it's just the end of the world if you don't talk about it. That's all. But the thing in and of itself isn't a big deal. It just needs to be addressed. That's all. Cool.